When it comes to being furloughed, losing your job, hours being cut, whatever, please, if you take nothing else from this video, let me tell you this. If you are not able to make your mortgage or your rent payment, you're okay now, but you may not be okay in a couple months, even your credit card payment. Hi, it's Natasha with SoldByNat.com here, associate broker with Virtual Properties Realty. Today I want to bring you a video with all that's going on with COVID-19 and coronavirus. This is not something that I had planned on doing. I actually have a lot of content that I've already recorded I need to edit, but given the times, I feel it's my obligation, my duty as your trusted real estate resource to bring you some information on the topics. And in this video, I'm going to be talking to homeowners, sellers, buyers, even some renters. It's going to have something kind of for everybody. It depends on where you are, because what we're experiencing now is like affecting everybody in some way and everybody differently. So I'm going to come at it from the real estate aspect, of course. So this video today is going to be my real estate market update, letting you guys know what's going on with me, and more importantly, to provide you guys with information and resources in this time of need. I don't know about you guys, but for me, the words that I'm leaning on right now: adjust, pivot, and shift. Adjust, pivot, and shift. We're just gonna call that APS. And I just made that up today, but I'm gonna tell you where I got these words from. Adjust, that was just something that I had, because in these times, like every day, something new is coming down the pipeline and we just have to adjust. Like we can't freak out, even though this week I felt like I did freak out a little. Hopefully you guys have been subscribed to my channel long enough and watched enough of my videos to get to know me. If you are new here, thank you for watching. Please go ahead and subscribe. But I want to share with you, like, this week was kind of tough for me. Just as things continue to change and we get more news, like this week hearing that school was not going back, I was just like, wow. Like I was just still holding on to hope that school was going back. All of these seniors were going to graduate, and all of these business owners that have had to close shop are going to get to return like really, really soon. So getting that news this week, like that didn't provide the hope that I was hoping to get. So yeah, so adjusting, we just have to adjust. Pivot, I was listening to Marquis Lemon's podcast. It's called Social Selling Made Simple. I hope I got that right. If not, it'll be here somewhere. Social Selling Made Simple. She has a podcast, and she used the word pivot. Her thing is you pivot. And then shift. I thought about that from Gary Keller's book, but that book, it's been a while since I read that book, but I thought about that book. So let me just share today. I'm in my office now. It is like a ghost town in here. I'm the only one in here, and I just stopped in here on my way home just to record this video. Now, I'm in Georgia, and we were just put on a shelter in place. Now, real estate is considered an essential service. I will put links and resources in the description box, but yes, real estate is an essential service. However, we have had to adjust, like everyone else, how we do business, because so much of our business is in contact with people. So today, I had buyers that had a closing. Today is closing day. And normally, if you know me, or if you visited my website, you see all of my pictures at closing. Like, closing is such a big celebration, especially for buyers. Like, that is their goal achieved. So I love celebrating with my clients, and to not be able to do that, it was just like, wow. But what do we have to do? We have to adjust, pivot, and we have to shift. So my buyers went to closing, and I went to the house. And shout out to the lenders and the closing attorneys and all the people that are adjusting, and the photographers, the home inspectors, because, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, but for example, with this buyer today, a lot of the closing was done online, virtually. So they were able to sign a lot of their documents electronically. And you might be saying, well, that should be easy, but in real estate, like contracts and stuff, we can sign electronically, but closing, they want everything signed by hand. So for them to make this step to where they can now do things electronically, like that was big. That was huge, because for years I'm like, well, we can sign contracts electronically. Why isn't closings like this? But anyway, they pushed through for that. There were some documents that they still needed to go in and sign. So initially I thought they were just going to sit in their cars and they would bring them out, the papers out to them, because some lenders, some closing attorneys are doing this. And I'm going to tell you, if you are buying, it is going to depend on the state that you're in, the lender that you're working with, and the closing attorney that you're working with, on how things are going to go. Buying or selling, have a real estate transaction, it's going to depend on who you're working with and what they're doing during this time. Some people are doing video closings. Some people are doing mail-aways, where they mail the packet and then they mail it back. So there are different options. Know that it may affect time frames, because if you're doing a mail-away, you have to mail back in this package and it's not fully funded until they actually get the documents in hand. So that may be a whole nother day. So you have to check, especially if you have like back-to-back closings, like if you're selling and buying. So we're all adjusting, we're all shifting. You have to be in dialogue with your lender as well as your closing attorney. Back to my buyers today. So while they were at closing, I went to the house and I just prepped the house a little bit for them. I put out the mat, I put like a ribbon on the door, just trying to do something nice for them. And then I got them a little gift and I like set that up for them. And then when they got to the house, I gave them a sold sign to hold and I took a picture of them. It was so hard, y'all. It was so hard, because I'm a hugger, and she's a hugger, and we just wanted to celebrate and be happy together. But it's like, no, we have to be socially responsible and we can't be in 6 feet of each other. It was just so hard, but we did it. They got me the nicest card. It was so sweet. So it's still dream fulfilled. They're super happy. As far as them moving, because you might say, well, you have a shelter in place, you can't move. Read your city's guidelines to see, what is actually allowed, because they called and that is considered housing and shelter, and they are allowed to move. So I'll give you that bit of information. I did stop by my office to pick up a sign for a new listing that I have. So to show you there, real estate is still going on. So if you're thinking why are people still selling? Why are people still buying? For some people, it's not okay, I just want to move. Some people actually have to move. They have to buy, they have to sell, they have a job relocation. They have circumstances where the world just can't stop for them, and they just be like, well, okay, I'll just wait till everything goes back to normal. So that's why I say real estate is essential, and things were already in place before this stuff started happening. So it's not like you can just say, okay, we'll stop everything and just wait. So that's why things are still going on, but like I said, we're adjusting. The big thing that I want to tell you is, if you're going through a real estate transaction and you have experience being furloughed, or your hours are being cut, or they're talking about laying off, know that this can affect your transaction and you have to make a judgment call. Are you waiting to see how things pan out? Are you trying to pull the plug because it's too uncertain for you? I'm going to tell you first, speak to your realtor first, and then you guys are going to assess your particular situation, how far you are in the transaction, and what actually needs to happen. I do not think you should go calling the lender and saying, oh my gosh, my job may lay me off and such, because you don't know if that's going to happen. So you may get worried and then cause panic and worry on their end, and then know that once they hear something, they cannot unhear it. Once they hear something, they cannot unhear it. Unhear is not a word, but you guys know what I mean. So that's why I say speak to your agent first about your situation. You're also going to speak to your agent, because if you're in a legally binding contract and you need to terminate that contract, you need to go about it correctly, and you need to see what kind of penalties there are going to be for those actions. Even if it's out of your control, it's still a legally binding contract, so you're going to have to work through that. So that's why I say talk to your agent first. Now, also when it comes to being furloughed, losing your job, hours being cut, whatever, please, if you take nothing else from this video, let me tell you this. If you are not able to make your mortgage or your rent payment, you're okay now, but you may not be okay in a couple months, even your credit card payment and any payments, have open dialogue. Start having dialogue with your mortgage company, your landlord, your creditors. I'm telling you, the worst thing that you can do is not say anything. And I'm speaking from experience, guys, because I have been contacted on several occasions by people that are like, can you help me? I'm behind on my mortgage. What options do I have? And after speaking with them, they are literally, their house is going on the courthouse steps the following Tuesday. Like, they waited so long to contact me. Like, there was nothing I can do. Like, do not wait until it gets that bad to then start taking action. So call them immediately and start working out something. So if you take nothing else from this video, please take that as a tip. Have communication and know what your options are. I just had this thought. Talk to your mortgage company, talk to your landlord, talk to your creditors, talk to a real estate professional. And I say that because if you've watched the video where I share my personal home story, I'll link it here. Family had a house, I was on the mortgage, and when they ran into trouble, this was when I was in my really early 20s, didn't know anything about finances, way before real estate, all of that. But when they got in trouble, they went to a lawyer. And the lawyer basically, he was supposed to be a short sale person and basically scammed them out of money. So be careful who you contact and who is actually going to tell you your options. Because if you go to a short sale lawyer or attorney, or what do you think they're going to advise you to do? Do a short sale. So make sure you speak to somebody that can advise you about all your options. Like, if selling is not your option, if you do not need to sell, if you're not in a position where you need to sell, and there's ways that you can save your home, like, let's talk about that. Let's see what options there are out there for you. Okay. Forbearance is a word that people have been saying a lot, or you might have been hearing a lot, that mortgage companies are allowing people to basically not make payments for a certain amount of time and add it to like the end of their loan. Definitely check with your lender to see what their terms are, because I spoke with a colleague and she checked with her bank, and her bank was like, yeah, we'll allow you to do it, but at the end of that forbearance period, you owe all of that money in a lump sum. So it's not like they're letting you pay it back little by little. So you really want to read the fine print on whatever they are allowing you to do. Also, I'm going to say that if you don't need to do it, don't do it. And it's one of those things where if you're in the store and there's 10 packs of toilet paper, if you don't need all 10, like, take 1 or 2 and then leave some for somebody else. Like, if these banks or these companies are providing different resources, different help for people that are truly in need, leave those for the people that are truly in need. Because if everybody jumps in and like, okay, well, I can take advantage of it, it's just going to mess up the system. But there are people out there still showing houses. But wise agents have put in place protocols and systems. So I'll pivot and speak to that. Agents, lenders, photographers, like I have a photographer going out on Monday. He has his own protocols of what he's put in place, that the seller, the agent, first of all, the agent should not be there, because normally we'd all meet there, whatever. So the agent should not be there. The seller, go through, turn on all the lights, open all the doors. He will not be touching anything. So he goes in, he has his wipes, his gear, his protective gear that he needs. He goes in, he takes the pictures, he takes the videos, he does everything. He asks that the seller then step out, go for a drive, or time it so that they go grocery shopping or do whatever, and then he's either gone by the time they come back, or you know, it's just really lined up well. And I've already put the lockbox on the house, so it's already good there. So that's one measure. I know another colleague stepped it up early, like with her buyers. She would go in, wipe it down. She would go in and preview the property. Then she would come out the house. Then she would let the client go in and look, and they would FaceTime each other, maintaining that distance. Again, you may be listening and say, oh, that's too much, but there are some people that need to move and still want to buy and sell real estate, and we need to make it feasible for them. So how do we do that? We have to put our heads together and be wise about it. So, you know, I've always put shoe covers in my listings. Now I'm putting hand sanitizers on the door. I'm, you know, dropping by and wiping off the doorknobs. I'm doing my sanitation. Need to find gloves because I've not been able to find gloves, so I need to get on finding gloves to provide that. So it's different things. Meetings have gone virtual, so we are Zooming, FaceTiming, Skyping. We can do that. So there's different ways. Some buyers, you know, you actually don't have to physically look in the house to actually buy a house. You know, they have virtual tours, you have 3D tours, like you can see a house without physically stepping into it. So if you really need to buy a house, there are ways that you can do it. So it's just being creative during this time. There are ways that it's being done. Last thing I'm gonna say is the resource list. Like a colleague shared with me a pandemic resource list. I'm going to put together a blog post, and I'm going to just make it a resource list, and I'm just going to include a link to every resource that I come across. So if it's, you know, help with mortgage payments, forbearance information, on this list, I think they have like utility information, and anything that I come across, I'm gonna put it and I'm gonna link it in the description box so that I can just pass that information along, and just know, please go ahead and do your research and due diligence as well. Stay safe out there. Guys, let's adjust, pivot, and shift, learn the lessons that we need to learn. And will things be the same? I think things are gonna be different. But different doesn't always mean bad. Different just means different, and different can be better. So yeah, I'm gonna end it on that note. If you guys have questions, please go ahead and leave them down below. Feel free to reach out to me. All my contact information will be down below. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for liking. Thank you guys for subscribing. Thank you to all of those people that are on the front line. Please, like, if you know of veterans on a regular day, like, you should be checking on veterans, but especially during this time, like, really check on them and see how they're doing and see what you can do. God help us all and be with us all. Please like this video, share it with somebody if you feel they need this information, they need the resources, they're going through a transaction and they're not really sure what to do. Please go ahead and share this video with them, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.